Hey, how you doing? Stosh Vlog fans, this is Stosh back with part 2 of the end of the Polish Americans, or death of the Polish Americans, which is pretty dramatic. But if you think it's not a true thing that the diaspora of the Polish Americans is not on the decline, then give me a shout. Tell me why you think that it's not true. I am definitely interested in hearing from people. People haven't reached out. I've had up for a long time a YouTube slideshow sort of video about the Pol Town, which was an area in Michigan, which was a town that consisted of Polish people, Polish Americans, and General Motors put a plant right down in that area, and people fled, and I guess there's very few Polish people there left, and I think it's a Bangladesh neighborhood now. So I did hear from some folks on that. And that was pretty interesting. So, pretty much all you've got to do is sort of do a YouTube, a Google search on Polish parishes closing down, or Polish American clubs closing down, or Polish veteran clubs closing down, and you'll find a lot of stuff. I didn't. On the next part, I'm going to have more notes on it, but basically, there's been some, major neighborhoods that are gone now, completely gone. And it's really not something people discuss in this country. Also, give me a shout if you're from other ethnic groups that have fled. The cities are gone on major declines. I'm interested to know about this. I'm definitely interested to know about this. Sorry, I'm drifting tonight, but in any case, in any case, damn, I'm drifting again. I'll have to say start at part 5. Where do you stand on this? Why do I get so little feedback on this stuff? It's very interesting to me. Yeah. Oh, nobody's in the chat room. So, some of the stuff I've covered already is the need for a hero. Polish Americans don't have any heroes. We've got some people that are very worthy, but it's just very unknown. Even guys like Liberace. I think he brought it up. I don't know. Bobby Vinton? Great singer Bobby Vinton was not afraid to admit that he was a Polish American. Greg Luzinski, Carl Yastrzemski. Captain Carl, I don't think ever really made it much of an issue. Rob Gronkowski, I think he's half French and Polish, never brought it up. Why? Is it because it's a pain in the dupa? I've been asking this, and I don't really get much feedback. What's the status of your area? I mean, are there still huge polka concerts, or has that gone away? Has your local cathedral or church or parish shut down? I think we all know the answer to this is definitely a resounding yes. All you got to do is a simple Google search. Are you from the area of Fishkill, Philadelphia? All you merely have to do is type in Polish church in Chicago. You're going to see a lot of stories about parishes shutting down. So the Polish Americans put a lot of they put everything into the Catholic Church. They invested heavily in that. They built big churches. That was basically the how things came about. That was their power structure, there, if you will. And there's been the problem, of course, with the child sex scandals, abuse, and so forth. So church attendance is in decline, and each article you'll say big change in demographics. Big change in demographics. There was a large Polish American community, for instance, in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and that's all but gone now. All you see is churches closing down, or the gray hair, the blue hair, whatever. People are older. We'll do one right now. Here, just putting in Chicago Polish churches. Let's see just what happens. Just I urge everybody just to Google this up. So there's Saint. Anybody a member of Saint? And it's spelled Adabelt. It's a big church. Change in demographics. I guess it's heartbreaking. Final days. Pilsen area of Chicago. Roman Catholic Churches of Chicago expected to close, consolidate over the next 10 years. Chicago Archdiocese to merge several parishes and schools. Consolidate churches. So, just the fate of the church is in limbo, blah, blah, blah. So, what's the problem with this, and why do the Polish American people not really talk about this? Why haven't us as the Polish Americans been able to shake the Polish joke thing or the dumb Polak thing? It's a tough stereotype to live under. At times, I've seen that it gets, or it's probably doing better because of the massive shift in demographics. Nobody knows who they are now. As usual, the Poles are on the other side of the American intelligentsia, in that Trump is popular with the Poland, of course, because he's putting, they want Camp Trump there, and forever there's been no visa waiver program for Poles, and Trump Trump's letting Poland join the visa waiver program. He signed that. And that's going to help him, very much move to secure the Polish-American vote. So this is uncomfortable stuff to talk about. It is on every level. Like just to even bring up that that was a thing. The ethnic neighborhood in America is going away, in particular for the European peoples, and it's just a big no-no in the United States. I mean, people could keep at one time their ethnic identity in the neighborhood situations, and now that's really going away. And it's just something you're really not allowed to talk about. That's just like there's really no such thing as culture for Americans anymore. I mean, you just don't talk about it. It's replaced by success or materialism or sports teams or rights for different people. But it's never been something that's come together, in particular for the Poles. As I've mentioned in all my vlogs about the Poles, Polonia is the name for the Polish people in America. As the late Senator Dan Rostenkowski, or Representative Rostenkowski, revealed, we didn't. Yeah, he was just a representative. He revealed. He passed away in 2010. He revealed that the Poles didn't succeed in getting a mayor of Chicago, even there was a big majority there. Why is that? Why? When every one of these vlogs, when I talk about Polish Americans, I talk about Colonel Matt Urban. Why is he so unknown? And we're going against this big battle. Oh, the Irish American Audie Murphy, versus Colonel Matt Urban. Of course, people love Audie Murphy. He's a great movie star, great guy, great hero as well. And there's this battle. They're awfully close with the medals. And I've said it many times. Even if Matt Urban, the guy who I say has got more medals, more the real deal than Audie, who was more of an excellent propaganda tool for the war effort. Even if he was the number 2 man, why don't you hear about him? I've communicated with people on here as friends and family. Why is it? I mean, they're just fighting just to get him a bridge or something in his town, or and they can't do it. It almost seems that Polish Americans who come to great success in this country, they really get oddly in a lot of trouble. Martha Stewart, you might consider a great Polish American, in some bullshit case. It's like they blamed, every stock problem on her. She becomes this villain, and now she's on with Snoop Dogg or something. And after going through that propaganda mill, I guess she looks like not that great anymore. She was once, one of the greatest persons of, offering valuable information on how to make your household more beautiful and wonderful and meals wonderful. She was, kind of Very, very positive role model. She's now gone from that, you might say. Um, Dennis Kozlowski was a, you know, decent CEO guy, but then he did some bad stuff and probably that he shouldn't have. I think he's probably more guilty of some wrongdoing than Martha, but so there's a lot of strange stuff like that. There's also the majority of people I meet that go, "Yeah, I think I'm Polish." It's the United States and Poland have never come to reconcile the events of World War II because um, they were offensive to the larger, more valuable Soviet ally. So the Poles are basically told to shut up. But it doesn't go much more deeper than that. There's a book that I referenced on here called Hollywood's War with Poland. I'll put that in the liner notes for tonight's vlog. So this kind of talk is much poo-pooed, much discouraged. Well, you can't say this kind of stuff. Why are you complaining? Oh, yeah. You're Polish. Well, why do you want a hero? Why? Well, everybody should be an American. There's no question that America, the Republic, America, the democracy, freedom, and so forth, is beloved worldwide, and its culture is like a virus that spreads everywhere. But it's an uncomfortable thing to say. It's also kind of it's so appealing and so wonderful, so contagious, so powerful that it eats up cultures like a smaller ones. So there used to be stronger ties. Every city has a little Italy. Are those as big as they used to be in your city? And I'm not saying that other nationalities are not getting a taste of the same thing. They certainly are. But I could be wrong. I feel as though it's a lot stronger with the Polish Americans. And there's a lot of excellent YouTubes that go into for instance, if you don't know, the Hussars are tremendous Polish riders that, saved Poland and saved, in fact, the Christianity in Europe, and had some tremendous victories. There's a victory that was had, versus Russia when they were the early Soviets, Red Star versus White Eagle, and it's virtually unknown in academic circles because that was a victory against Stalin and Trotsky, aided by Marion Cooper, guy who directed the first King Kong movie long ago. He flew as a pilot in the war. There's some recognition to Chopin. I've done very little vlogging in recognition of Polish women. I haven't done a good job with that. Madame Curie. She was just voted the greatest role model of women worldwide. So the first thing that's going to happen if you're Polish American, Might happen to some less extent if you're new or just a visitor from Poland, whatever. You tend to talk about some battles or some people that have done some extraordinary things with who are Polish or the Polish Polonia, Polish American persuasion, you'll get, you know, a laugh. You'll get a laugh. Is that fair? Is this fair in this time where people are hypersensitive to any kind of racism or ethnic slur, discrimination of all kinds? Will Ferrell's in a movie a long time, you know, now a pretty long time ago about, you know, he's telling a Polish joke in Land of the Lost or something. Told that to a Polish guy, whatever, and he's like, "Oh no, that's old," you know. There's been a lot of Polish Americans, you know, that have helped sent help to the old country, in particular in the big areas of, you know, of Polish concentrations, New Jersey and Chicago and so forth. Is that still going on? Trump, you know, getting rid of the, I mean, letting the Poles join the visa waiver program. They can come to America now 90 days. They weren't able to do that. He's also pledged to move 1,000 troops to Poland and maybe more. That's something I blogged on here that some people have gotten pretty pissed off about. I said, you know, I don't think it's a great idea for Poland to be putting in a missile defense system that the Russians regard as offensive. So there's an incredible amount of enthusiasm in Poland for America, American culture, American way of doing business ever since the wall came down. The awesomeness of being a friend of America. It's overwhelming, probably. Can you imagine if you lived under the communist system and, you know, you were trapped behind the so-called Iron Curtain comes down and you're now able to become hooked up with America. You go to Warsaw now, it's more and more and more looking like a typical American city. You've got your Hard Rock Cafe downtown. The enthusiasm for the soccer, the football in Poland is now, you know, more and more year after year resembling the, you know, excitement in America for sports. You know, it was already there. By the way, I think the top soccer player right now is Robert Lewandowski of Poland. He is probably the hottest soccer player right now in the world at the moment. Good for him. And more the females and the guys are doing really well in boxing and ultimate fighting, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Robert Lewandowski is the captain of the Polish team. So he finished as the top scorer of 2019. That's Robert Lewandowski. So if you're Polish, you should know who he is. There's also a guy that is well known in military circles. Who became known as the Lion of Fallujah. That was the legendary Marine Major Zerimbek. That's Zembiec. So, Lion in Fallujah. I don't really know how involved he was in the Polish community where he was, or if he even cared about it to any extent. But he was a Polish American, and he was he was associated with the CIA and intelligence and the Marine Corps, and he was quite a great hero. In fact, as far as the Iraq war in Iraq, I have to say he's one of the probably the biggest heroes to come out of that. Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart twice, I believe. Yeah. So he saw a lot of action. He wasn't on the level of a Tillman, who was mysteriously killed in Afghanistan, but he was very, very big. And so hats off to him, to the Zaremba family. There's a part of me that wishes that he hadn't returned, because I think he had returned to the Brotherhood of the Marines in battle, and off the top of my head, I don't think he had to do it, but he was a warrior. So there's a lot about giving back to the Corps and giving back to society. And this is something that's not going to win me any friends or anything, but I wish that he didn't return to more combat. I would somehow wish he got involved in the Polish American community somehow. I wonder if he had any interest in that. A lot of people say, "How dare you?" I don't know. I don't know. Or is he, as a guy who's a hero like this, does he have any interest in that? Principles my father taught me. So he certainly was a Polish American. There's not really anything on the Wikipedia to reference it, but he was. Would there be, if he was would there be any reference to that if he was maybe from another ethnic group? He was known as the Snake as a wrestler. I guess there isn't any reference, and he certainly has a Polish name. Unquestionably. Zarembek, that's a very Slavic guy. He's a Polish guy. I don't know why they don't talk about it that much. So it's not something that's much discussed. If you're upset about me bringing up the Polish background of Zarumba, give me a shout in the liner notes. But I think Colonel Matt Urban did make more of an issue of it. There's some people that would surprise you that aren't. There's a area where they have Polish Americans as great athletes, and Mark Friedrich. I didn't know Mark Friedrich, the Bird, going way back, an extremely beloved pitcher. Who was a wild, very entertaining pitcher of incredible style and just fun to watch. Was at the time Detroit had didn't have a great team, and Friedrich had some tremendous victory against the Yankees when they were incredible underdogs. His career was cut short from a wild injury. So the Bird, out of the Western Mass area, was actually a Polish American guy. He was about to be inducted to the National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame. But nobody knows he really was. There's a lot of actors in particular. It's well known. Everybody wants a Polish girlfriend, Polish wife. Their beauty's incredible. There's a lot of these women that are fashion models and whatnot. Their names are all changed. They're actually of Polish descent. Why is this? Is this America and you just become American? What do people think about this stuff? Is it better you just shut up and have success? You have success and materialism, but no background, no culture. History starts 2 weeks ago in America. It's weird. What does anybody think about this crap? Am I YouTube so lousy that's why I don't get any comments? I can't even really confirm that Douglas Zarembeck was indeed a Polish man, I think it used to say. But he was an unapologetic warrior, exceptional wrestler, man of fitness. Again, I do know by his name he certainly was. He's got a new credo. Be a man of principle, fight for what you believe in. Hey, there were no weapons of mass destruction, Major. What can I say? I'm drifting. So, and is that indefensible for me to bring out Martha Stewart and say that she didn't really do anything? How many people said when she was accused of this, the responsibility was to her stockbroker? She went to jail. Dennis Kozlowski, I don't really know the case. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're a successful person, do you hide your identity? Do you hide your identity? Have you been asked to? It's all weird. So they kind of paint Gronkowski of the Patriots. He's a fun-loving guy. He's often said to be, or insultingly, that he's a, dope or whatever. That's his thing. Happy-go-lucky, kind of silly, but he kills you, and he won. Can the Patriots move on without him? He's of Polish descent through his dad. Doesn't talk much about it. Why? And why is he sort of hit with that thing? Because he certainly was able to get serious when he had to. And, I, for one, am glad he's retired rather than ending up with a lot of brain damage and whatnot, or more injuries to the back. I think he's been beat up pretty much. I think he's worth 50 million or something through his savvy business skills. I've just endlessly say a lot of people say that he's a partier, an idiot, or whatnot. I think that all gets washed away with results. He was the best I think there ever was in the tight end position, and I don't know. If you're Polish American, I don't really care about what non-Poles think about Gronkowski. Actually, right? I'm going to sound like people from other groups that feel put down upon. If you're not Polish, don't talk about Gronk. Won 3 Super Bowls with Brady. Even in the Warsaw Times, they call him delightfully gooberish and gifted. Famously said that partying made him a better player. That was his style. I don't think you could say that he was exactly stupid if he accomplished the incredibly complex plays that were put together by Brady and Belichick, who is also, by the way, a Slav. I think there's mixed feelings about Kostowski. I believe he is also a Polish-American kicker that did well enough for them. Have you been hit at your work? I have. I wish I'd said something about it. Say that right now, here, publicly. Do you get a hard time at your work if you have the wherewithal to come out as being Polish? Do you think you've been put down? Do you dare to even talk about it? If you're from similar Slavic groups, have you been ignored? Why don't we hear more about that? Sometimes the Slavs, good-looking people, smart people, get noticed sometimes. Like Melania Trump, our fellow Slavic sister. All right, that's about it. I'm gonna be doing these for a while until I get some responses. Are you from a Polish American neighborhood and is it shutting down? I really don't care what people think of me for discussing this. I think it's got to be done. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. All right. God bless everybody. Dobranoc. Dzień dobry. Yeah. Love you guys. Ciao.